This week, as it's getting a bit more autumnal, I fancied making some kind of pecan, kind of not quite a pie. I wanted something quick and easy. And then I saw this recipe from Edd Kimber's new book, One Tin Bakes Easy. I don't actually have this one, but I do have his previous one, which I think is just One Tin Bakes, which is good. But it's definitely a bit more involved, and I absolutely love baking recipes that are really quick and easy and flavorful. So I have high hopes. So we'll give this one a go. I'm going to make half the amount, and the whole book is actually meant to be baked in. All the recipes can be baked in one tin. But as I'm doing half the amount, I'm just going to put it in a cake tin. So already going completely off-piste. So we'll see how it goes, but it looks like a fairly nice, straightforward recipe, as the title seems to suggest. So let's see how we go. First up, it's adding plain flour to a bowl, obviously. And then after that, it is the caster sugar. And yeah, this looks really simple, so kind of just adding that all together. I'm always running out of caster sugar. I always seem to be starting a new bag. It's not great for the health, is it? And then a bit of sea salt. This was 1/8 of a teaspoon, but in the full recipe it's 1/4. And then mixing that all together. I don't even think you actually technically need a stand mixer for this. I will probably use mine because I'm lazy. But they just get mixed together, and then I pour in some melted unsalted butter with a couple of lumps. I literally just melted it in the microwave, and it was meant to be melted and I think cooled a little bit, but I couldn't be bothered to wait, so I melted it, the least I could get away with, hence a few lumps. So then I mixed that together in the stand mixer, then added some mini chocolate chips and gave it a mix until it started to clump together a bit. I didn't want to overmix it. And then I'm going to pour it into the cake pan. You can see it's kind of nice and crumbly, and this kind of short texture, which I presume it wasn't meant to be a clump. I think it was meant to be a bit more bitty. And then I'm pressing that in, which you just can't help but feel like a Disney animal when you're kind of pouring things into the edges of the pan. But going to flatten that out all nice and neatly, and then once I've done that, it goes in the fridge for half an hour, and then we'll continue. I should actually say these are the chocolate chip pecan pie bars, and then it gets a little pricking with a fork. I presume to help stop it puffing up and rising up, so a bit like you would do with pastry. And then it goes into the oven, which I think was 160 fan, for half an hour. And while that's cooking, I'm going to get on with the filling. So first up, it's 150 grams for me, so I'm doing half the recipe, of golden syrup, which I was ruining having the squeezy bottle at this point. It was so hard to get out. But I didn't have any of my usual tins, which you could have just scooped up very easily. So it was trying to work the biceps here. And then added 2 eggs and some light brown sugar, and scooping out a bit of the sugar because I added a bit much, and if possible always try and follow the recipe as closely as I can. So even though it's only, I think, 5 grams over, I still wanted to get it precise if possible. And then it's a little bit of salt, and then it's some the recipe says you can use like a dark spiced rum or something similar, so I just used bit of whiskey. I didn't do the full amount, and it says it's optional, but I thought I'd add a splash of that. And then it's adding the ground cinnamon and some vanilla extract. and giving that all a good whisk together, I just popped it in the stand mixer, and then I made sure I scraped the bottom to make sure there wasn't any golden syrup stuck to the bottom of the bowl. And then after that, I added some rolled oats and also some chopped pecans, and then mixed that all together so it's all nice and combined. I didn't whisk it again, I just used the spatula this time round. And then when the base has had about half an hour until it's golden brown, that can come out the oven, and then this will go on top. Sorry for the increasingly dark and dodgy lighting. The days are getting so much shorter. Anyway, the base has had half an hour in the oven and it's golden brown. Doesn't quite look it there, but it is. And then I'm adding the filling on top. I'll be honest, I didn't actually wait for the base to cool down, so I hope that's okay. I just got it straight out, poured this on, and then it goes back in the oven for half an hour, and I'm bashing the overhead video with my bowl there, so sorry for the roller coaster vision. But yeah, then that goes back in for half an hour. And here it is after having half an hour in the oven. It took 30 minutes, like it said in the recipe, despite me using a circular pan, and doing half the amount. Some butter did leak out a little bit in the pan, not much. And then it cools in the pan completely before you cut it into squares. It was good. It is kind of like a very quick pecan pie substitute. I think if I make it again, I might do less base because it's quite thick, so these were like proper like cookie bars, I'd say, rather than like a pecan pie with a thinner pastry. And I might actually take out some of the sugar in the base and the chocolate chips, but it was a really quick, really easy recipe, and I definitely want to try a few more from the book, so I'd give it a go and let me know what you think.